Hey guys, Daniel here again. Just want to give you all a little overview of one of the tractors that I've got. And I know a lot of people, try to do the homesteading thing and stuff, and go out with and get maybe a tractor too small for what they're trying to do. And that's pretty common thing. I know the little Yanmars and Mahindras. I think now they've got a Coyote that I'm seeing, and a lot of them are people don't realize that it looks like it'll do something. It's got knobby tires on it. It's 4-wheel drive, but it's only 22 horsepower or something like that, and it may not do what they want to do. Especially people will go out and they'll find these deals on Craigslist on this old used equipment, because a lot of the farms are being subdivided and everything, and fortunately sometimes the equipment does get sold instead of scrapped, which is a good thing. But people pick up equipment that's too big for some of these smaller compact tractors and everything. This critter here is called a Ford 5000, as you can see by the old sticker there. When I repainted the hood a little while back, I taped off the old sticker because I haven't had much luck in finding another one. Plus, this hood's in terrible shape. A tornado hit the barn this thing was setting in, what I was told, and blew the barn down, and the hood's kind of in bad shape, kind of bent up and stuff. But I went ahead and painted it just for, as they say, shits and giggles. But I got this thing back in the winter, and great deal on it. It had set since 1992, as you can see by the seat. But apparently it was a well-kept tractor beforehand, and I think the gentleman passed away that owned it and everything. But got it, and probably got a little over $1,000 in it now. Haven't had to do a whole lot to it, but I've had to do a few things, and I'll kind of go over that, what I've done with this tractor, and we'll discuss some people's tractors' needs. As you can see, it's a diesel 4-cylinder. I hope this wind is not interfering too much, but got a little bit of it's more of a diesel leak right there. That front injector line is leaking. The ferrule's loosened. You can loosen that line up, and the line will pop out of the nut and leave the ferrule in the injector. But I had to put a water pump on it. Great guy, Danny at Tractor Import Parts in Ontario, hooked me up with that. Had to put new hoses on it. And as you can see by the rusty water, and that's a brand new radiator hose on top. And what it is apparently the farmer couldn't find a water pump for it, whatever, and was dumping stop leak in it. This thing is full of stop leak. But I haven't had a lot of issues with it. It's running a bit warm, but not overheating. But I don't know if you can see in there. Got one spot that I can't get patched up that's seeping a little bit on the radiator. Just a little bit. Probably gonna have to break down and buy a radiator. I'm pretty good at soldering them up, but that thing's pretty rotten. It's rained a bunch lately, so it's wet where it's blown in there. But you can see the tires are nice and dry rotted. But one thing that you'll find with a tractor, if you're looking at older ones, you try to look around the valve stems to see if it's rotted out around this valve stem here. And fortunately, these aren't bad to be a 62 model. This tire here was flat when I purchased the tractor. I carried it to the tire shop, and actually, you can see all these huge cracks in here, but actually, inside of the tire's in pretty decent shape. I'm going to run them till they come apart completely, but put a new tube in it. And another trick these tractor tires, inside the rims will get rust in there, and it'll eat the tubes up. Well, what I do with that is I'll wire brush the rust off, and you'll still have some pitting and stuff. And I'll take a high quality duct tape and wrap that inside of that wheel. Works great. As you can see, the back tires are same way, kind of rough. They still got some life left in them if they don't crack and pinch the tube. What they'll do sometimes is they will crack to the inside, and as that tire flexes and comes apart, it'll pinch the inner tube inside. But so far so good. Only issue that I really have with it right now is, as you can see, I hope you can see, she's spitting oil out around the bell housing, and what that is the rear crank seal is bad, and it's not terrible, but it is leaking. You know, you run her good for 4 or 5 hours. Sorry about that, get my fingers out of the way. You run her good for 4 or 5 hours, you will have to put a quart of oil in it. But you know, other than that, put power steering hose on it. One story about these critters here, it's an English-made Ford. They imported these things to the States in the 60s, I think 61 through 64. They imported these tractors. I had to take the lift off of it, and a couple of valves stuck. The lifting valve there on the cylinder was stuck, and the unloading valve, and the check. Took all that apart, cleaned it out, changed hydraulic fluid in it, changed the gear oil up here in front, and I think that's about it. Put a kill switch in it, kill switch cable. As you can see here, the gauges are toast. Temperature gauge kind of works. Of course, the generator and the other light over on this side, tachometer, it's toast. Steering wheel, it's pretty toasty. Got a new one for it, 13 bucks off eBay. Surprisingly enough, a lot of the parts for this tractor were rather cheap. Got the old big 7-foot bush hog on it. It does all right with it. This bush hog's actually, we purchased it for the 6700 Ford that I've got, and it does well with it. This tractor turns it fine. Just needs, I got a weight bar and stuff and suitcase weights I'm gonna put on the front. But getting back to, you know, tractor for your needs, one thing about a diesel tractor is fuel consumption versus smaller, older gas tractors, 8Ns and stuff like that. I think 8Ns around 27, 28 horsepower. Great little tractors. They're great for bush hogging, grading driveways, if you want to snake some smaller logs and stuff like that. They are good for that. I mean, those little tractors, you know, when they came out, the Ferguson T20, stuff like that, that's all you had. And people worked with them. People worked the daylights out of them. You know, they will, if you got fluid to tires, and you know, if they got enough weight and stuff, they will pull a set of plows. Had a guy that gave me a single bottom 16 plow a year or so ago. He had for an 8N, and his 8N wouldn't pull it. He didn't have water in the tires or any weight on it. It wouldn't pull it. But you know, and he was trying to break new ground, the ground that hadn't been ever been broke up before. So that, you know, that makes a difference there. But you know, to really plow good, if you're going to get out and work, you know, 5 or 6 acres up of ground, you probably ought to have at least a 45 horsepower tractor. You know, and you're going to spend a little bit of money for that, but it's money well spent. If you get into some of the older farmalls and stuff like that, well, one thing, make sure they have a hydraulic lift on them. You know, that's your 3-point hitch lift. You see a lot of the older tractors that are cheap. You can find them on Craigslist, cheap, but they do not have 3-point hydraulic lift. I won't say that they're useless, but I mean, you're not going to find a piece of equipment these days that you can hook to them really and do anything. You might get some of the belly-mounted stuff that still works on some of those old tractors, but you're going to have a hard time, and I don't recommend doing that. I mean, I'm not knocking the gas tractors. You can find some really good gas tractors, but just remember that, you know, you're not going to be able to You know, it's not going to be a bulldozer. But if you need to keep your land cleared up, if you need to bush hog and stuff like that, you know, an 8-end or something like that would be a good tractor. So that's kind of it. I'm fixing to jump off of here and do a little bush hogging before this rain sets back in. I appreciate your time, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you.